Stop. Before this video even starts, think of the last time someone said something small and you reacted big. Got it? Good. Keep that moment in mind. We're coming back to it. Steve reads it once, then again. Something happens in his chest before his brain even finishes the sentence. Heat, tightness, a flush of heat behind the eyes. He hasn't said a word yet. He hasn't even decided how to feel. And yet, he already knows exactly how this goes. He's done this before. He'll spend the next hour replaying it. Tell a friend the boss has no idea what they're talking about. Avoid opening the file again for 2 days. And somewhere quietly, underneath all of it, a small thought. Why do I always do this? Here's the uncomfortable answer. You don't randomly overreact. You're running a pattern. And it's running you. The loop quietly controlling your life. Here's how the pattern actually works, step by step. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Step 1. Something happens. A comment, a tone, a delay, a look. That's the trigger. Step 2. Your body reacts before your mind catches up. A feeling shows up. Anger, shame, anxiety, automatically, uninvited. That's the state. Step 3. To get rid of that uncomfortable state as fast as possible, you reach for whatever's worked before. Blame someone. Scroll, argue, withdraw, overeat, over-apologize. That's the coping mechanism. And here's the part almost nobody notices. Do that enough times, and it stops being something you do. It becomes something you are. The coping becomes a pattern. The pattern becomes a personality trait. And the personality trait quietly becomes your destiny. Not because fate decided it. Because you kept practicing the same 4-second reaction thousands of times without ever noticing you had a choice in the moment. Your life isn't shaped by what happens to you. It's shaped by what you automatically do right after. Brenda walks in and sees Steve's face. Brenda says, "Oh no, what happened?" Steve says, "My boss said my presentation was weak." Brenda says, "That's it? That's the whole email?" Steve says, "That's the whole email." Brenda says, "Steve, your face right now looks like you got fired, divorced, and told your dog doesn't love you all at once." Brenda's confused. And honestly, fair. Because from the outside, nothing dangerous happened. But inside Steve's head, something very dramatic just went off. And to understand why, meet the two characters actually running this show. First, the amygdala. Think of him as the overly dramatic security guard who's been on the job since caveman times. He's fast, he's paranoid, and his entire job is to slam the alarm button the second anything looks even slightly threatening. Rustling bush? Alarm. Loud noise? Alarm. Boss says the word weak in an email? Alarm. Same button, same volume, same panic. Here's his one flaw. He's never been updated. He genuinely cannot tell the difference between "there's a tiger behind you" and "someone didn't love your PowerPoint slide." To him, it's the exact same emergency. So the second that email lands, the amygdala doesn't pause to check if this is actually dangerous. He just hits the alarm. Full volume, immediately. Now meet the other guy, the prefrontal cortex. Think of him as the calm, sensible manager down the hall. The one who actually reads the situation, weighs the options, and makes a smart decision. Problem is, the second that alarm goes off, security guard protocol kicks in, and the building goes into lockdown. The calm manager gets locked out of his own office. Not fired, not broken, just temporarily standing outside the door, badge not working, while the jumpy guard handles things his way. That's why Steve typed an angry reply before his smart, rational brain even got a say in it. Brenda says, "So basically, your brain's alarm system thinks an email is a bear." Steve says, "Basically, yeah." Brenda says, "That's kind of embarrassing for you." Steve says, "Thank you, Brenda." It's not just Steve, though. It's everyone. It's you, too. Every time you fired off a text you regretted 4 minutes later. You weren't lacking self-control. You were just letting the jumpy security guard answer the door instead of the manager who actually knows what to do. The good news? You can get the manager back in the room. You just have to buy him enough time to reach the door. So here's the actual shift, not a mindset, a sequence. Because in the middle of a real trigger, nobody remembers philosophy. You need steps, not ideas. 5 of them, in order. 1. Recognize. Before anything else, just name what's happening. I feel anger. My chest is tight. This is about an 8 out of 10. That's it, not analyzing why yet, just noticing. The moment you can name a feeling, you're no longer fully inside it. You're watching it. That gap is small, but it's everything. 2. Regulate. Before you think, settle the body. Slow the breath in for 4, out for 6. Unclench the jaw. Straighten the spine. This isn't a nice to have. Emotion lives in the body first. Skip this step, and clarity never arrives. 3. Reflect. Now and only now, ask what's actually going on underneath. What triggered this? Is this really about what just happened or an old pattern this reminded me of? This is where Steve would normally notice. It's not really about the email. It's the same fear of not being good enough that's been showing up since he was 22. 4. Reframe, choose on purpose a different lens than the automatic one. Instead of "they're attacking me," what's the actual useful information in this feedback? Instead of "I always mess this up," what would I do differently this one time? 5. Respond. Not react, respond. One small, deliberate action that matches who you actually want to be in this moment, not who the trigger wants you to be. For Steve, that might be, give me 20 minutes, then let's talk about the fix. 5 steps. Same order, every time. Recognize, regulate, reflect, reframe, respond. Let's run it through Steve's actual moment, from the very start of this video. The message: this presentation is weak. Recognize. I feel embarrassed. Face is hot, maybe a 7. Regulate. 3 slow breaths before typing anything. Reflect. I'm in blame mode right now. I want to say this boss doesn't get it. But is that true, or is that just easier to feel than being wrong? Reframe. What's one actual thing I can improve here? Respond. Thanks for the direct feedback. Can we go through it together this afternoon? Same trigger, same Steve. Completely different 4 seconds. And here's what matters. Nobody's watching this happen. It's invisible. It's 4 seconds inside one person's head in the time it takes to read a text message. But that invisible 4 seconds, repeated enough times, becomes a different personality, a different pattern, a different destiny. If the trigger is too big, a 9 or a 10, don't even try all 5 steps. Just do this instead. Breathe. Move your body. Delay your response. Speak later. That's the whole emergency version. Nothing more required. Remember the moment I asked you to think of right at the start? The one where someone said something small and you reacted big? Go back to it now. Which step did you skip? You didn't choose that reaction back then. But the next trigger is coming. It always does. And this time, you get to choose which 4 seconds you live through. So next time your chest gets tight over something small, you'll know exactly what just happened. Your jumpy security guard hit the alarm before the calm manager even got out of his chair. That's not weakness. That's just biology, running on default settings. The 5 steps don't remove the alarm. They just buy the manager enough time to reach the door. Recognize, regulate, reflect, reframe, respond. If this made you think of your own Steve moment, subscribe, because the next trigger is already on its way. Might as well meet it with the manager in the room, not the guard.